New relationship. Everything is good. Then a notification drops that nobody asked for. Another woman is pregnant, and she's pointing at him. Not vaguely. Not "it might be." She's naming him. She's keeping the baby. The printer isn't being subtle about this one. It's already warming up. Already loading the certificate. Already building the file with his name on line 1. Most people fold here. Most people Google how to cope with your boyfriend's pregnancy scare at 2 a.m. and end up reading a Reddit thread that makes everything worse. She didn't fold. She didn't spiral. She put her phone face down, picked at a hangnail, and glanced out the window like she was checking if it might rain later. Nope, wrong guy, babe. Beat. Silence. No follow-up. The DNA test hasn't happened yet. Remember that. Now here's what the printer had on her. Because this wasn't a weak case. This was a full prosecution. He was there. The timeline lined up. The other woman had screenshots, dates, a whole organized folder of evidence like she'd been preparing for court. The printer had a complete case file tabbed and ready, just waiting for someone to sign off on it. And here's the thing. She saw it. She wasn't blind to the data. She knew what the timeline said. She knew what the other woman was claiming. She looked at the full case file, closed the tab, and said, "I see it. I'm just not loading it." She poured herself a glass of water, took a slow sip, set the glass down like she was stamping a form. Nope, wrong guy, babe. Beat. First deployment. Filed. Stamped. Closed before it opened. Not loud. Not defended. Just entered into the record and left there. Now while she's doing that, the boyfriend is doing the opposite. He's running the old file at full speed, appointments booked, a crib already put together in the spare room because the printer had already convinced him that's exactly what was happening. Then he hands her a form, a hospital form, next of kin, emergency contact. Both their names on the same line, like the printer needed one more signature to make the file official. Can you just sign this? In case something happens at the appointment. That's the trap. Sign the form and you've signed the story. She read it twice. Set the pen down without touching the paper. Nope, wrong guy, babe. She didn't sign it. Not out of spite, out of accuracy. She knew his appointment schedule better than his doctor did, and she still couldn't remember if she'd eaten that day. Then the corrupt cash kicked in. A full audit, running on its own. Nobody hired it. She checked his location. Offline. Zero conclusions. She checked anyway. And that's when the loop started. Same question, different phrasing, running on repeat. So she did what anyone running a corrupt cache does. She hit 4,444 repetitions of the mantra, stacking inputs like she was trying to crash the mainframe into submission. Then mid-count, she stopped. Because refreshing the tracking page doesn't make the package arrive faster. The order was placed already. She hit save on a different file entirely. That's the one she decided was real. The printer didn't care. It upgraded the job anyway. A due date got circled in red, like a deadline nobody asked for. He shows her the ultrasound photo. The printer is producing visual output now. Grainy, black and white, thermal paper, handed straight to her face. Exhibit A, printed and delivered like it settles the case. She looked at it, tilted it slightly, checked a fingernail. Nope, wrong guy, babe. Beat. She handed it back. Picked up her fork, kept eating the way you keep eating through a fire alarm you already know is a drill. Then the print job gets bigger. Mutual friends start congratulating him. A registry goes up. He's comparing stroller reviews like a man who fully downloaded his new file. Of course he did. Then the other woman texts her directly. Not him. Her. You should come to the shower. It's only right since you're basically family now. That's the confrontation. Not a scream. A calendar invite with teeth. She read it twice. Not because she doubted it, but because the nerve of it deserved a second look. She typed back and hit send. Nope, wrong guy, babe. No blocked number. No group chat drama. Just a decline sent the same way you'd decline a meeting invite for a meeting that was never yours. She's at dinner with him. He's carrying the weight of a file she already deleted. He's stressed. She's ordering dessert, not because she's cold, because she's already holding the output she saved weeks ago, waiting for the printer to catch up to it. The 444s started showing up on her phone. The 777s. She treated them like a loading bar. It finishes whether you're watching or not. Then his sister calls. Not him. Her. Have you thought about names yet? You're basically family at this point. Nope. Wrong guy, babe. Beat. Call ended before the sister could argue the math. She scrolled his cousin's 2014 wedding photos looking for something. Anything. Found a buffet table. Inconclusive. Scrolled further. Found a dog in a bow tie. Filed it as irrelevant. Came back to it twice. The dog had nothing to do with any of this. That's where it got quiet. Not peaceful. Quiet. The way a room gets quiet right before something breaks. She wasn't getting a different result because the file was different. She was running a different file. That's it. Then the text came in. He's here. No warning. No preamble. One notification. The baby exists now. Not a photo. Not a rumor. A real, breathing, out-in-the-world human being, and 9 months of print time produced a whole person standing there as the counter-argument. That's the strongest file the printer ever ran. Full resolution. The printer's closing statement. If anything was going to break the file she saved, this was the moment. She read the text. Phone down. Flat on the table. Click. Picked up her coffee. Still warm. Smoothed the napkin next to her plate. Checked the time like she had somewhere to be. Took a sip. Nope. Wrong guy, babe. Silence. Long enough to hear the fridge hum. Not loud. Not to anyone. Delivered flat, the way you'd read a weather report. 60% chance of rain. 0% chance he's the father. Same tone for both. Like someone reading an output log that already printed the correct file before the announcement even finished loading. The corrupt cache asked for a recount. The printer didn't take requests anymore. It stamped the job complete and shipped it out. Wrong address. No big conversation. No meaningful glance. No climactic decision. The DNA test got ordered the way all things get ordered, quietly, between two ordinary moments, while someone is probably finishing their coffee. The printer is about to run the correct file. Results don't arrive with music. They never do. Not the father. 3 words. 1 notification. Same font as every other notification. Same sound. Same size. No fanfare. No dramatic orchestral swell. No slow motion moment. Just the screen. The words. The output. The printer outputted the file she loaded weeks before the test got ordered. Not the file the corrupt cache kept running. Not the file it defended across 17 drafts in one color-coded timeline. Her file. The one she saved when the corrupt cache had a full case. A sonogram. A registry. A support group. A baby. She didn't celebrate. Didn't send a "told you" text. Didn't reopen the color-coded timeline for a victory lap. She just noted the output. The system doesn't do dramatic reveals. It outputs the active file. That's it. That's the whole feature set. She didn't beat the corrupt cache. She never fought it. Silence. Next case file. Already processing.